What if an altcoin reduces its inflation by 70%, while at the same time artificial intelligence, Bitcoin and Ethereum are natively integrated? Internet Computer is currently at about $2.60. Many have already written off Internet Computer. But in 2026 the setup will change completely. Mission 70, in other words, chain fusion without bridges. On-chain AI, deflationary tokenomics. Is this the underrated rebound candidate in the market or just another tech promise? Let's take a closer look at the facts. A lot of people have asked me about it, so now I've built it. My own chatbot, 10x Intelligence. In essence, it's a data-driven chatbot that actually does research work for you and makes your life easier in both the crypto and stock markets. Getting access to 10x Intelligence is actually quite simple. You go to the link in the pinned comment, then you'll land here on my Whoop. Then you click on join, it's completely free, and then you'll immediately have access to 10x Intelligence. Hi, I'm Marius from 10x Invest. Today we're analyzing Internet Computer in the year 2026. Together we'll talk about Mission 70 and the new tokenomics, but also about chain fusion for native Bitcoin and Ethereum integration, and of course the AI integration via Ignition and Keflin. And at the end we'll naturally take a look at the chart. The central question now is, can Internet Computer structurally explode? Mission 70, the deflationary turning point. Mission 70 is the core of the new token strategy. The goal? To reduce inflation by around 70% by the end of 2026. But of course, the question now is how? Through reduced emissions and of course more token burns, but also stronger staking incentives, for example, and more. Demand through real usage. This fundamentally changes the supply profile, meaning fewer new tokens in circulation and more locked in staking, for example. If at the same time adoption really increases, it acts like a double lever, which is of course extremely powerful because the supply decreases. Demand rises. And that is exactly the idea behind Mission 70. And that's what sets 2026 apart from previous internet computer cycles. Chain fusion, native Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now comes the technological highlight. It's called chain fusion. The integration of Bitcoin and Ethereum, but without traditional bridges, which is of course extremely exciting, and without wrapped tokens. Native swaps directly via the protocol. This naturally reduces security risks, but also increases liquidity and turns Internet Computer into a Bitcoin DeFi hub. But Dogecoin support will also be integrated. The goal is to make external liquidity directly usable on Internet Computer, which is extremely exciting. When Bitcoin liquidity flows into DeFi, protocols with native integration naturally benefit, and that is structurally extremely relevant. AI integration and the self-writing internet. The next major topic is artificial intelligence. The Ignition milestone integrates large language models directly on-chain. Caffeine enables prompt-based app development, which is also extremely exciting, as well as the so-called self-writing on the internet. This means developers can generate applications directly via text prompts, and all of this is on-chain and with a native infrastructure. Additionally, load balancing for higher computing capacity is being introduced, as well as immutable blob storage, which is also extremely exciting. This naturally reduces latency, but also increases throughput, which is of course a good thing. And the goal is, I think, clear. Internet Computer doesn't just want to be a blockchain here, but ultimately the new internet, the decentralized cloud. But partnerships with Microsoft Azure and Google Cloud also strengthen these collaborations. The positioning? 1.2 million active wallets, billions of daily smart contract calls, and enterprise applications in IoT and medicine. So exciting. And governance is being further decentralized through the Neuron Fund. This is truly an infrastructure and not just DeFi. Now let's move on together to the chart analysis and take a look at where Internet Computer stands. What might the price targets be from this run? But what is also the risk? Welcome to the chart analysis of Internet Computer. Let's jump straight into the chart. As you saw, the launch of Internet Computer, when it was launched, $600, over $600, massive. Well, that's just how it is sometimes. When the hype is extremely high, and that was the case in 2021, then of course the price rises massively. But in the end, as you can see here, that's not sustainable. The drop was extreme if you take a look at it. That was about 95%, and at the moment, we're still below that. That's already extreme, but it was also a bit unrealistic. Here, the hype around Internet Computer, that's why it has stabilized. But technically, Internet Computer is extremely strong. But now let's go directly into the chart. The last big surge we had was here in 2023. By the way, that was quite interesting. My 10x indicator kept calling a bottom here, because you never really know when the bottom is finally in. Here it said, boom, looks pretty good. Here and here. And in the end, after the green dot was formed, for example here, we went up by 638%. So massively. But at the same time, the indicator also showed big red dots here. That means we are overbought. So a lot of people are buying. Now we might have seen the top. We also had top signals here, top, and here a top. By the way, here it indicated a bearish trend reversal. A small red dot means a bearish trend reversal. A small green one means a bullish trend reversal. And then we went down. But let's take a look at the current situation now. By the way, we would have an interesting point here. Here my indicator formed a big green dot. That was here. After that we went up by 237%. And it also called the top well. In other words, red dot. Red dot up here, again a sign for me. If I had a trade now, I would rather exit because now it's extremely dangerous since many have bought and we were in the overbought zone. Then it went down and interestingly enough, here it formed a green dot again. After that we also shot upwards and here again a red dot. Did it ultimately call the top? And then we went down. So but just recently, here it formed a green dot, which was also really cool. After that we went up by 43%. Current situation. We have formed a small green dot. That means a bullish trend reversal. We then also moved upwards. But at the moment, we are now in a situation where we are very high up. If you take a look, the top was here. Now we are very close to it. That means the chances are high that we found a local top here and that the price could go down again afterwards. So what would I do now? With Internet Computer, would I get in now? No, I would absolutely wait right now. I would wait until the price forms a point here depending on how the situation develops. And then, when the price goes down, I would consider getting back into Bitcoin, but also here into Internet Computer if a big green dot forms. That would look like this. Maybe a big dot would form here, then it would go down. Then if a possible bottom forms, a green dot would appear, and that would be the point where I would say, okay, now I'll take a look to see if I ultimately want to get in. If you want to use the indicator yourself, you can find it in my 10 times Elite. That's basically my complete program, really everything I do myself, my entire analyses, how I proceed, my investment plan, and so on. So basically everything I do is also reflected in the 10 times Elite. That's one part of the program and you're welcome to use it. Take a look, the link is in the video description, or you can check it out here by scanning the QR code. But if you say, I only want the Zenix indicator because that's what I'm interested in, then you can also just take a look at it there. I'll link it below in the video description as well, or you can scan the QR code here. And if you now say, chart analysis is actually too complicated for me, I don't want to use TradingView, then I have a solution for you as well. Because if you get the Zenix indicator, you'll also get Telegram alerts, so you'll immediately receive a message on Telegram, you join a group, and then you'll get notified right away. Alerts as soon as a big green dot appears on Bitcoin, a big red dot appears, or there's a trend change, so a small red or a small green dot. That way, you're always well informed and, for example, get the information directly on your phone. And then, when you get the alert, you can go straight to the chart or take action accordingly. It's really that powerful. It's simple, especially if you don't want to deal with TradingView. By the way, these are the alerts for Bitcoin and a daily chart. Exactly, as I said, all the information is in the video description. And now you even get a starter code, a 30% discount code with the code START. So basically everything is set up for your start. Ready. Yes, now let's move on to the conclusion. Internet Computer. By 2026, Internet Computer is no longer in the hype of 2021, but Mission 70 is reducing inflation. Chain fusion brings native Bitcoin and Ethereum liquidity. AI integrations are creating new use cases. And the enterprise focus is of course also expanding the target audience. And this is currently a structural repositioning. Whether internet computer will explode as a result depends a bit on several factors. Also, whether adoption and capital inflow will occur. But the combination of deflation, cut, AI and blockchain delivery is strategically extremely strong. Before you go, I have another exciting analysis for you here that really surprised me. It's also in the AI sector, Near Protocol. Definitely take a look at it. The complete analysis with price prediction up to 2030. Thanks for watching and see you in a moment.